Jasmy holders, I am getting prepared to make a very, very big purchase on Jasmy if something very specific happens, and I want to explain to you exactly what that is today. So with that said, guys, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now, look, I do want to remind you guys, I actually did talk about Jasmy a little while ago in my live stream that I did before I recorded this video over on my second channel. So if you guys would be interested in getting some extra content from me, fundamental analysis, and much more, go check out the crypto catch-up. It is linked down in the description below, and of course, I do some live streams, videos, and much more there. So now, looking at Jasmy, okay, sorry for the little plug there, but you know I got to. Looking at Jasmy, what I'm watching very closely is the fact that Jasmy is now in an incredible zone of liquidity. An incredible zone of liquidity. I'm talking about so incredible that if Jasmy breaks out of this zone, I genuinely believe that it might reach up to what could be, 5 cents, 5, 6 cents, maybe even 7 cents, and it could happen this year. Okay, now let me explain to you what this zone is. So what's happening at this given moment is that Jasmy is not only backtesting a macro level of support, but it's created a bullish structure that could uphold it while in that macro level of support. What does that mean? Well, what we can see are two different things on my chart here. Thing number one is this, which is a descending wedge. Thing number two is a range between this red line and this red line. Let me explain to you what both of these are. Well, the two red lines here indicate where our macro levels of support and resistance are for Jasmy currently. As you can see here, we had this range high and of course a little range high there, and then we obviously revolved around it a little bit here, creating a very obvious zone of resistance here. Now, quite clearly to the bottom as well, we had support 1, 2, 3, and 4 all established right around this 0.015 level, establishing an obvious level of support there. And so what that gives us is a macro zone. It's just a macro range. And while we are within this, there's really no way of knowing in the grand scheme of things where Jasmy is going to go. Sure, it may go up and sure, it may go down, but while we're bouncing within the zone, there really is no knowing. Now, in the same breath, what we can see is that we are currently sitting within what's called a descending wedge. Now, this descending wedge, which I'd like to call it more of a descending channel because it is rather parallel, is typically considered bullish in times in which you are in a macro uptrend, okay? When you create structure of this nature in which you are in a descending channel or descending wedge, you have a 70 to 80% chance of breaking to the upside of that structure. That's just normally what happens. And I'm not just saying that, that's just historical data. That's what happens. And so knowing that, obviously, what that tells us is that, well, Jasmy could be in a situation that if we are capable of breaking out of this structure, that also could give us a moment in time in which we break out from this macro range and what Jasmy is now trapped within again, because we did break out of this range, but we came back within it. And so now the game plan and the goal is to get back above this 0.02, looks like 0.0275-ish level roughly, and to start making our way back up to, again, chasing 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents, etc. And so what I'm doing currently, knowing that I have this descending wedge right here that could push us to the upside, and we're trapped within this macro range, is I'm going to set a now two-step equation. What I want to see from Jasmy, if I'm going to make a big buy, and we're talking a 5-figure purchase here on Jasmy, is quite simple. I want to see the top side of this descending wedge broken, and I want to see the top side of this range broken. Because if we're capable of doing that, I am quite confident that Jasmy will be in a situation in which we will be able to not only just re-clear this previous high, but clear past that previous high and seemingly put in what could be a move up towards 7 cents or maybe even 6 cents. Off of our Fibonacci extensions, a 6.5 cents roughly for Jasmy is a 1.618 fib extension. A 6 cent push for Jasmy is a 1.272 extension, and I would say minimum we should be able to get back up towards 6 cents based off of history, based off of the range, based off of the wedge, based off of our Fibonacci extensions. And so where I'm at right now is understanding we have a macro zone of resistance and support here, a macro zone of resistance and support here. And if Jasmy's price at any given point is capable of breaking through this zone, I am expecting and anticipating to push up to minimum 6 cents, which could be an absolutely beautiful move of, we could go ahead and look at that and call it upwards of 113%. And so what I've done is I'm now setting a buy. I'm not going to set an actual buy alert or order because there's no really way of knowing it because we have two different structures that are co-aligning with each other. But at any given point in which we do say clear, 0.028, I'm going to really start getting prepared to make that large purchase. And there will be a couple small things, right? We need to see a successful back test, hold support, etc. Stuff I'll go over if we get up to this point. But I just wanted to warn you well far in advance that if that is what Jasmy is setting up, and if we are going to be be prepared for a move to that nature, that's what I'm going to be doing. Big buy there once we get the breakout here because it's cleared 2 macro zones of resistance and support, just overall liquidity zones, and that typically opens up the door for a beautiful move to the upside. And so again, I know that's a little bit far in the future and maybe even a little far-fetched for some of you, but I like to give you things in advance so you can at least understand what's happening with these 2 different points of structure, 2 different points of liquidity, and how you can be preparing for future, right? What you guys need to understand is that the people who are reactionary, and are reacting to this market based off of an emotional perspective or realm, whatever you want to call it, right? They're using their emotions to react, always lose. The people who are responsive in the sense that they know exactly what their response is going to be under any circumstances. So when a move happens, boom, I know what to do and I act on it, consistently win over and over and over again. Not 100% of the time, 70, 80% of the time though, and that's all that matters. Having a higher win rate than a lose rate, because that's how you make money over time. And so that's one of the things that I'm doing to prepare while Jasmy is currently setting up this structure and seemingly making these moves currently. And so I wanted to share that with you, go over that with you, kind of show you what my game plan is, but I would love to hear your game plan down below. Are you buying now? Are you accumulating now? Do you think now's the time to get in? Or the flip side, are you selling? Are you shorting? What's your strategy? What's your game plan? Leave it down there for me in the comments below. And don't forget, while you are down there in the comments, please do subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to go ahead and check out my second channel. It is also linked in the description below. So of course, thank you guys so much for tuning in on today's vid, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.